Alrighty, what is going on, ladies and gents? Welcome back to the channel for another market update. Hope everybody had a lovely day. And with that being said, let's dive into the TA. All right, guys, so we got a whole lot of nothing today. We had, a little bit of pump going on this morning, followed by an end of day dump into another end of day pump. We ended up trading complete flat. I'm just going to say from here, the game plan is very simple. All right. You are watching for a break from yesterday's, high or low. You're just watching for the break of that range. Until then, you can't really be too much of anything right now. Okay. You could be bearish, you could be bullish, but don't be betting on either direction. Okay. Why? Because you don't know which way this is going to go. I'm going to tell you where I think things are going to go. I think we're going a little bit higher here, but it's still the same exact thing I was telling you in yesterday's video. And then in the weekly update coming into this week, which is, hey, I think we're going a little bit higher over here, but, we could drift higher, but we're going to keep building out these 4-hour bearish divergences. And at some point, I think from a little higher prices, somewhere up here, we talked about in yesterday's video, I was doing the same thing, somewhere up there, I think we're probably going to get, some sort of a rug pull going on. I think there's, everyone expected a sell off of the Moody's news. Okay, Moody's downgraded the U.S.'s credit rating. Okay, the debt rating, I guess I should say. They downgraded that. Everyone thought it was going to be Black Monday, all right? We were seeing everyone limit down, limit up, when in reality, what did we get, guys? We got a big sell followed by a big buy. Okay, so it ended up pushing up. It not only broke the range to the downside with the opening gap down there, but you then pushed up to that high. From this point, we now gap down. We now have an inside day, guys. Can you not see that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days where price has gone absolutely nowhere? The market, I talked about it the other day. I'm going to say it right now. The market is experiencing buyer exhaustion. I don't think this is a reason to be too bearish or too bullish, especially bullish right now. I think we're just going to go slightly higher if we do, which I think is likely. And then we would probably see this rally fizzle out somewhere from over here. Just don't be expecting too much. I'm going to jump over here to VIX before we go any further. I'm just going to point out that, over here, guys, typically when we get this look, we get one of these candlesticks. Now, keep in mind, this also sold right from underneath the 200 DMA. When we get one of those, we typically will come, if you get this down, this close to lows here, we typically will come down to a new low. And in this case, we had the 4-hour bullish divergence. Well, if we come down and we make a new low here, we're going to have a triple bullish divergence there on the 4-hour RSI. No matter what, guys, all right, I'm expecting VIX to make this low over here, and then I'm expecting it to be pretty short-lived. I don't know if it's going to be only a few trading sessions. I think the markets can continue higher. Maybe we get a sell by the end of the week. Why? Because, first of all, we have this going on, all right, buyer exhaustion. It's definitely it's something that's taking place. It's the only reason we're just grinding here. Not something you want to see. It's like, look at that. But before we really sell, I do think we would probably get, a day of just, consolidate. Like, we're going to get some sort of signal day, okay, which is why, when we just started getting these bullish closes, I was like, guys, if you're trying to short, I think you're at least a day early, because we're at least going to get like a consolidation day before doing so. Well, we had yesterday's big move back up to the highs, followed by this consolidation day, so this isn't, bullish or bearish. We could fall tomorrow. We don't know. I think things are set up more so for a push up to new highs. And then I really do think we're just going to drift over the coming trading sessions. Maybe it produces a wick tomorrow, push up here, comes back down. But, I'm just going to tell you guys, you have the 4-hour bearish divergences, and every other time you can pull these up, yeah, the market's going to pull back at some point. Even if they got burned on that move right there, okay? Like, oh, Henry, but what are you talking about? Look at that big move up. Well, guess what happened then? You made a divergent high over there, and then you got your, sell right back to where you end up burning your divergence. That'll happen inside of like 1 to 2 weeks over there. That could be the case over here, guys. All right. So, we started getting a little bit sell here. We started selling a little bit. I'm thinking, things are going to be playing out. We're getting real close over here. I'm thinking we're selling earlier than Henry Boy over here expected. Okay. I thought we were going to be continuing a little bit higher from these prices with how things are looking. And I still think that's how we're set up. But yeah, they had me in the first half over here. But then you just see the 15-minute RSI got down to oversold territory over here on SPY and QQQ. And then you have the 5-minute bullish divergence going on SPY and QQQ. And as we see, we saw a pretty nice rally into the close that ended up flipping QQQ's candle, at least, into a more bullish than not candlestick over here. So, I'm just going to say, I think the 1 hour, the 4 hour, and the daily charts, I think they're set up to continue a little bit higher. But again, we clear as day, we have sellers in the water right here. Okay. Like, this is buyer exhaustion. We also know retail just had their heaviest buy day of the since inception of the markets. Retail just freaking had their biggest buy day. Guess what? They're probably not going to be right. They're usually wrong. So I think they're going to give retail a little bit of money. That's why I say it makes sense to drift a little bit higher up into these levels, and then sell from there, which should maybe, I don't know, it could take some time. All right. But maybe by Friday, maybe you get a rug pull that ushers in like an upper wick. I just don't think it makes sense to leave it like over here. I think we're probably going to get a decent sized wick if we really are going to usher in like a reversal bar. And I still think we're set up to get that pullback at some point. So I don't think it makes sense to just close the week out at the high over here. Unless you just, like over here, you gap up a little bit next week, get a bearish engulfing candlestick, and that ushers in the reversal. I'm really not sure. But if we do push up here, I don't think it makes sense to close out at the high. Because at that point, yeah, you're probably going higher the next week. And I know what you got over here. And we're going to be on the lookout for that because of what's going on over here. And what's going on over here, like, I'm serious, guys, it's just going to go like this. Even if this current one gets burned, like it's just going to put in another one from these prices we're talking about right here. So don't expect all that much. But yeah, I think it makes sense if we pump over here in the short term that maybe by the end of the week we would get that sell, or if it doesn't happen end of this week, maybe early next week. I just think it's very likely to get that pullback with what we got here. And it's not happened yet. The market's not saying it's ready for it yet. So there's that. And I still do think VIX is going to make that low. Okay. So try and make this a short video. We're going to just review SPY and QQQ here. And then we will go over some Mag 7 stocks. Okay. On the downside, you're literally just going to be watching the break under 514.24, 510.15, 507.89, and then 501.48. On the upside, you're watching 522.53, 525.71, 527.92, and 532.10. But I don't think we're going to get up here. I think we're probably going to run into more sellers somewhere over here. You see, it's a key spot over there with a lot of reactions around it over here. And then you sold right through it. It's going to be a big spot. All right, so that's QQQ. We're going to come over here to SPY. And at the end of the day, guys, just keep in mind, if we do end up selling, I think the move back down here to the 200 DMA, maybe the daily 21, whether to actually test the 200 or just, test the 21 EMA, like somewhere over here next week, I really don't know. But, I'll just tell you, I think this move right here, it's going to draw new buyers into the equation. I think that's the recipe for going higher from these prices. But, I really would like to see the pullback there to bring the new buyers into the equation, because as you see right here, it's a very slow and grindy process. This is the buyer exhaustion I speak of. Like, it's just slow. I want the volatility. Give me back the volatility. these slow moves over here. Oh, baby. We caught our money at the end of the day today, but oh, baby. Oh, my gosh. How they did this. Okay. I wait patiently. I wait so patiently all day. The thing pops up over here. We caught it. I'm up, I think it was like $200. I'm like, oh, that's great. I think I'm waiting patiently for the $300 to $500 winner. All right. Like, I think you are finally about to get what I prepared for. The bearish scenario that we're watching for this morning. It was this. All right. It was taking the golden pocket. All right. If you broke underneath pre-market low, we'll just mark this out. This is how we were looking coming into the day. All right. Actually got that right over here. Where is yeah, all right. We're bearish scenario. We are going to be watching for the breakdown to the 0.618 fib over here. That move right there. And bullish scenario, we're watching for that over there. It was the same exact thing over here on QQQ. All right, watching over there. 15-minute RSI was going to be oversold. That's what we were thinking. If you did end up getting down there, it took a lot longer than we were expecting. I mean, yeah, guys, this is, you know, you can clear as day see, you know, they had you boy in the first half over here, okay? You did get, you know, a decent little sell going there, but that's the low volatility environment I'm talking about. It's crap, okay? So, you know, you got a bunch of these false breakdowns. You push back up, make it look like you're about to take out the high, all right? I played this little breakout right there, came right back out, stopped out. And what happens next? You fall off an absolute cliff, and now you finally hit the bearish target on the day. And then what happens? You find buyers right over there. You print this little, you know, you had that 15-minute Dragonfly Doji looking candlestick guy right there. And then you start pushing to close, all right? So, you know, we ended up making our money right over there. But, you know, yeah, the low VIX environment, guys, I'm just going to say we want the volatility. We want the volatility because let's just look at what has happened without the volatility. QQQ has been in the same spot for 5 days. SPY has been in the same spot for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. Very similar spots over here. Okay. QQQ, same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days now. We have been in the same area. You know, this move, you got up here by 12 o'clock. The rest of the day, you traded flat. This is like 5.5 trading sessions that we have been in the same exact range. This is the buyer exhaustion, distribution, whatever you want to refer to this as. That is the low VIX environment, 4-hour RSI, just printing in those bearish divergence. Like this is an environment that's not gonna, you know, give you much. We want the pullback, but I think you're gonna go a little bit higher here. I think VIX is gonna make that low, and then once it makes that low, you're gonna have another 4-hour bullish divergence there, another point of divergence, and then you end up going like boom, 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 boom. All right. And that would bring you, you know, actually to having a larger VIX move, or you just come over here 2234 like we were originally looking for over here. You just got rejected right here at the 200. Or you just come up here, reject the 21 EMA, and then, oh, boom, the bulls are back. Okay. We don't know exactly how it's going to go, but yeah, if you take out this low, which I'm saying this look we got right now suggests we're probably going to be taking out this low, then yeah, S&P goes higher, just a little bit higher. You have another point of divergence. At some point, we're going to get a larger VIX spike off of this, not this little pansy crap right here, okay? You're going to start a larger VIX spike. You just got to be patient for it, okay? I think shorting right now, I think you're a little bit too early. What is going to tell me that you're not early? Well, if we take out this low over here, 588.10 on SPY, then yeah, you're probably going to start going down. All right, so let's just go over the levels over here on SPY. On the upside, you're watching 595.54, 598.51, 602.48, and 608.13. I think you're going to get stuck somewhere over here. On the downside, wait for the break under 588.10, 582.84 will fall, 577.04 is underneath there, and then you have the 200-day, which I think is very likely to support price if tested. Patience, guys. Like I said, low volatility environment. Until you break down, volatility doesn't come back into the equation, which means you get a slow, grindy up move, or you get these pullbacks intraday, followed by that slow, you know, move back up intraday, which just produces this, you know, continuous grind higher we've had going on. Or you break underneath this low, and you're probably actually going to start seeing volatility enter the equation again. And at that point, oh, baby, let's get a 2% SPY move and go into the downside, okay? We don't know what's going to happen until it happens. I'm pretty sure I went over the levels over here on QQQ, but let's just go over it right now. Okay. On the downside, you're watching 514.24. Underneath there, 510.15, 507.89, and 501.48. On the upside, you have 522.53, 525.71, 527.92, and 532.10. Again, I think you're going to stall out probably somewhere over here, considering these 4-hour bearish divergence. Like you only can, you know, you only can go so far with these things before you actually do get, you know, even if it's just going to be something like that. Although we're kind of doing that, but yeah, I mean, I'm going to be completely honest. You know, I don't think you didn't let him play out over here. You went right back up. So far, you're not letting them play out right here. Like if you go up, you're not going to let it slip a third time. All right, Mr. Mark, you're not going to let these go a third time, are you? Like this is what I'm saying. Like, oh, like Henry, but you're going up. You're going up. I understand, but you see how this thing's going down and it's not higher than there. Well, what happened? Rug pull. all the way to the 4-hour RSI getting into oversold territory. And then you got bought up. All right. These are things that I'm excited to play, but we need to get the signals to be able to play them. All right. So bring back the volatility. Make volatility great again, Mr. Market. Do it. All right. Now let's just go over the Mag 7 stocks. We're going to call it a day here. I told you, very simple game plan going on here. Okay. Nvidia, you did end up getting bought up at your golden pocket from yesterday's move this morning. So there is that. All right. And now from here, what are we going to be paying attention to, guys? All right. First things first. Yesterday's low. It's the same thing we really, have going on with everything else, except you're watching Friday's high, and you are going to be watching Monday's low over here. So yesterday's low. On the upside, you're watching 136.35. If you break that, I think you're probably going to start heading up here. That's not really going to look all that bad. And I'd say, hey, 4-hour time frame really doesn't look all that bad. You look like you're consolidating in a bullish manner. All you need is a pop back above here. This thing's probably going to start going. We're talking the 140 psych level, okay? On the downside, watch 132.39. You start breaking under there. Yeah, you're going to fill this gap right here. Excuse me, I got the hiccups going, of course. But, then you're probably also going to head at least back down here, 129.08, okay? Apple, how we looking over here? You're finding buyers around this daily 21 EMA for the second day now. I'm just going to say, lose this level to a 351. This weekly chart is going to look pretty rough because if underneath that level, okay, you risk coming back down there, okay? If you come back down here while having this going on, this thing's probably just going to start breaking down. I don't think that's going to be the case just yet. And that's why I think it's likely before this, this sell here on the indices to see that 4-hour bearish divergence play out, to see the VIX 4-hour bullish divergence play out. I think we get one, little, not little, decent sized pop here. I think it would make sense because then Apple, it gives it room to really pull back here over the coming week or so. And then, it doesn't just botch the whole weekly chart, the look of the weekly chart there, okay? So that's Apple. Coming over here to GOOG. And, Google over here, guys, it did reject 168.24 today. I'd just be watching 163.24. That's going to be around your short-term moving averages here. It looks like that is a key level that's been getting some reactions going there. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And yeah, looking good, okay? Above 168.24, guys, you're watching 170.65. Above there, just expect it to come up to 172.91, which is going to have that 200 DMA right below. All right, but on the downside, 163.24. Underneath the 21, you have 158.80. You lose 158.80, this whole thing can go kapooey pretty quick because the weekly chart is a giant bear flag. And yeah, you got that kind of look over there as well. All right, so that's GOOG. Coming over here, Microsoft. Is this something you would be bearish on? I wouldn't. All right, and that's why I say I do think we're going to be continuing higher. I just don't think it's much higher. But I think it definitely makes sense just to continue drifting higher with how things, closed the day, with yesterday's move and how today's sell just got magically bought up into close. Yeah, I think everyone's getting bowled up, but I don't think that sells just yet. Okay. But over here on Microsoft, if you really start losing over here, 448.38, then, I'm completely wrong. This is starting its larger pullback. We're probably going to at least come into this 21 EMA. It's going to be around, 435. All right. But on the upside, you're watching 459.59. The only level above there is going to be all-time highs. There's nothing in between there. Okay. And yeah, I mean, just imagine getting this move and then getting a larger pullback. It would make a lot more sense. It would make a lot more sense. Or, don't delete my level there, buddy. Or you pull back from right here, slightly making that higher high right over here, and then you can buy that dip to that move right there. But yeah, I mean, monthly gap is still existing, guys. I don't think that's going to get filled over there on Microsoft. Meta over here, I'm just going to say you've been selling over here right at the 0.618 fib, right at our 641.86 resistance there for the last 2 weeks now. I know it's only Tuesday, so a week and a half. But that is going to be your key. Get above 641.86 tomorrow. Hold above there because that's where you got rejected today. Were you up there today? Is this a glitch up here? 640. No, I'm just crazy. I'm completely crazy. I was looking at yesterday's candle thinking these are conjoined candlesticks. Look at that small guy right there, guys. That is a tiny, like, consolidation, guys. Like, it only gets so tight. You have a larger candle, followed by another large candle, followed by a very tiny baby candle. You have a 3-day range. It's going to snap. You're going one way or the other. And my guess is it's probably going to break up with how it's looking. So, that's my bias. But notice how you got this declining volume here on these last 2 bars. Yeah, impulsive move incoming. And, my guess is it's still going to be up. But I could be completely wrong. Meta, it wouldn't look so bad to come over here on the weekly chart this week. It really wouldn't. But as far as everything else goes, yeah, I think it makes more sense to continue up. Amazon, you got a really nice green day yesterday. And guess what? You got just what we got on most of the other tickers, which is an inside bar today, okay? So if you push above 206.21 tomorrow, I'll just put my alert right there. If you get above there, 206.21, we're going to be looking at that 208.85 gap fill above there, 211.66, and then 216.20. I still think it would make a whole lot more sense to go up there. If we immediately just sell back down here, like this is where it's probably going to get bought. And that's a very tiny sell. And I think they rug pull this thing. So I think we're going to go a little bit higher before that thing actually sells. It makes sense to get up here and then come back down. I don't know. Okay. I don't know. I don't know exactly how it's going to play out. I'm just kind of painting the picture in your head here off of the the picture that I'm painting in my head here about, all these key components we're taking a look at. Taking a look at under the hood, SMH. Does this look like something that's about to, just sell massively to? Not really, but if it does take out yesterday's low, 241.29, expect it to come back to the 200 DMA, but it's probably going to find buyers over here, 234.17. Like, these are the things suggesting to me we probably are going to be going a little bit higher here. All right, TSM, does that look bearish to you? It doesn't to me. I'm sorry. I apologize. I don't have my bear glasses on. I left them. Okay, they're in the car. I got the bull goggles on right now. AVGO, is this something that looks like it's about to sell to you? Not really, okay? You do have one of these guys going on, but if you can pop up through this 235.28 high, yeah, I mean, there's nothing left until all-time highs. So, this was a little corrected bounce after taking out this low. This is a massive freaking bullish rally right here, and you're just consolidating in a bullish manner. It looks like a bull flag. Like, they're very different to me. Very different. 4-hour chart looks bullish. All right? Like, bears are having the chance of not taking their chance. All right? And then aside from that, the video. The video look like it's going to sell to you. It doesn't really look all that bad to me. All right? So aside from these tickers that I just went over with you guys, I'm just going to point out one that I think it's going to do pretty well no matter what here. Oh, we didn't go over Tesla. Tesla's a piece of poop over here, guys. I'm just letting you know. All right. Tesla swept the high today and literally immediately ended up, pulling back right there. Fell off a cliff into the close. I'm just going to say, I think it still makes more sense to, maybe we hit it with a gap up to like 350-ish tomorrow, take out today's high, and then you would end up going. And I still think it makes very, very much sense over here to get up here, 370, 380 over there. I did take off the golden pocket. But that is sitting right up there above our 373 resistance. So 373 to 384. I don't think that's likely. If you do end up pulling back, you're expecting buyers over here. And that's why I don't think we're going to get this massive pullback just yet. I think we do get a rug pull that catches a lot of people off sides, but I think they're going to give retail a bit more money here first. They should have their biggest buy day yet. Don't pull the rug on them just yet, buddy. Okay. But yeah, Tesla, it's not looking terrible. It's not looking great. Okay. I'm not going to say I like how this daily candle closed at all. I would still argue it's more probable to see this thing, push up. We are still seeing a lot of calls open, short dated calls. We're still seeing a lot of August, September, July, and June calls just, continuously just get hammered. Like, the most flow by far is over here on Tesla coming in. But I will just point out this. Okay. So, come over here to flow. All right. And right over here. Okay. 523, 330 put. That's 2.3 mil, guys. That's no, that's no small chump change right there. Okay. Guess what? Tesla. These are still open, by the way. Not sure if they're a hedge or not, but nobody closed them as they went 140% on that sell. And they literally went like 145% on that sell. So either it's a hedge or someone's long position, or someone is betting on a big dump on Tesla tomorrow. I really don't get it. All right, it's 140%, you know, within like half an hour there. They didn't take it. These just weren't closed. So someone still has these Tesla puts open for did I say tomorrow? Weird. Uh, oh yeah, tomorrow. Okay. I was gonna say I don't think it's Friday. There's no way I thought it was Friday over there. Why tomorrow, guys? Because they're not gonna just hold those if they don't think there's a solid chance of it. Let's look at it this way. Someone's not gonna just hold, make 140% in like 30 minutes there. Like very quick money there, big money. Okay, like this $2.3 million. Someone's, either they got a massive long position there, or they're trying to hit it big into tomorrow. There's no way they're holding them overnight if they don't think this thing is going lower tomorrow, because all it takes is this thing to gap up here, and yeah, they're creamed already. And boom, just like that, it's $3 million wiped out that guy's, his account right there. All the gains just get like that's $3 million in 30 minutes. Why is someone still holding that? I don't know. Okay, but you got big volume there. You swept the high. I told you guys it's not in this impulsive move, and yeah, I don't know. All right, so I bought over here. I bought the 370s for May 30 today. I took off my last June call, and I put half that money back into May 30 370s here on the chance that that Elon was gonna do some crazy things over here over the next week. I'm just seeing a lot of bullish flow come in over here on Tesla, but coming back over here, I'm just gonna point this out. SPY 523, 590 put, $1.5 million came in right after the bell. That's something someone just opened. We're gonna see if they close them tomorrow at the open, but if they don't, we're gonna watch to see when they close those bad boys. Someone thinks SPY is going to have a gap down. All right. So that should also be noted, and you can know that going into tomorrow. If they get closed, that's I don't know. That's anyone's guess right there. Okay. But MSTR, this is the one ticker I think no matter what the market is going to do, I think this thing's about to pop up new highs above 430.35, and I think it's probably about to push 444.94. Weekly chart looks really good over here. It's only Tuesday, and this can very easily engulf this candlestick and push up here to 445. So that is definitely a move I'm watching for over here. I'm really liking the look of MSTR, and as we see, we took out 415.36 there. Yeah, next up 430.35. It looks pretty sick. Okay. Coin. This is the one that just got added to the S&P 500. Does this look all that great? No. MSTR, on the other hand, I'm just going to point out, guys, if you're taking this bet, let's look at it this way. You could take it, your stop guaranteed. All right. No matter what you want to do, where you want to buy here, your stop, no matter what, you're completely wrong here on the bull thesis if it takes out 383.02. Why? That's going to be your daily 21 EMA. As you see this whole run, you did not take out the daily 21. You didn't even test the daily 21 until over here, when it was right before this thing was about to start falling off a cliff. Okay. This thing is clear as day a bull flag over here. Tesla has a similar look, but it's not nearly as clean. MSTR over here, on the other hand, it is very likely going to be popping up to 430 plus, probably tomorrow or the day after. All right. Aside from that, guys, that is what I have for you. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, please remember to leave a like so we can pump the channel. I put a lot of time and effort into these, and I make sure I'm doing these 5 days a week just for you guys for absolutely no cost, but I give you guys the tool you need to make money in these markets consistently. You know where the money's moving, you know what is going on. All right. So yeah, if you did appreciate the video, please just remember to leave a like, and if you are new here, welcome aboard. I will help you out, and I will guide us through these crazy markets. All right. With that being said, if you want to come trade with me, I'll be live every single morning. I'll be sharing, all my stuff throughout the day, and you can come trade with me. That link will be down below. But other than that, I hope everybody has a lovely rest of their day, and peace. Don't do anything stupid. The market is, it's exhausting. Peace.